Warhammer 40,000 is a daunting game to get into, with over 20 factions to play with, and many diverse miniatures to build, paint, and collect. Where exactly do you start? My name is Brother Tobias, and I am a Space Marine. The chapter has allocated to me a budget of $250 a month. There is an obstacle, however. My entire budget has to be spent on official Games Workshop products. I am not allowed to share 2-player boxes and cannot purchase used miniatures. The goal is to gather a 2,000 points Ultramarines army and lead them to victory in an official tournament. Welcome to Space Marine Plays Warhammer 40,000.
Coming in hot with a battle report.
Our enemies are the Adeptus Sororitas, or better known as the Sisters of Battle. Sororitas are the devout warrior nuns of the Imperial Church. While they sport the same basic gear as Space Marines, bolt gun and power armor, they lack the genetic enhancement of a Space Marine, which makes them less strong and less durable. In order to make up for this, however, Battle Sisters have a mechanic called Acts of Faith, which allows them to access a pool of dice generated throughout the game, which they can use to substitute any die roll they have to make. So if a Sororitas player has a 6 in their dice pool, they can use that 6 for a hit, wound or damage roll, instead of rolling the die regularly. This mitigation of variance makes them really consistent and powerful. The game size is 1000 points and the mission is Forward Push from the 2020 Grand Tournament Pack. Army lists are in the description. The Sororitas choose Assassinate, Raise the Banners High, and Mental Interrogation as their secondaries. The Ultramarines choose Deploy Scramblers, Forward Push, and Oaths of Moment. I win the die roll and decide to be the defender, allowing me to pick which table edge I want to deploy. I make a huge mistake and choose the table edge with the building in it. This will bite me in the butt later, as the Sororitas get to go first and move most of their army behind the big building in the middle, while the Exorcist tanks move into clear shooting lanes. These things are really durable and great at killing Space Marines. In my first turn, I have nothing to shoot at except the 2 tanks, which I didn't bring any weaponry for. The Inceptors manage to get a spike and deal 14 damage to one of the Exorcists. However, it gets lucky and manages to save enough wounds to remain at medium efficiency. The way this game plays out is unfortunate. Celestine proves to be a very annoying model, since the first time the Living Saint is taken out, she revives on a roll of 2+ with full wounds, meaning she gets to do multiple combats before being taken out for good. The Inquisitor also manages to roll really hot on his Deny the Witch attempts, robbing me of the 5-up invulnerable save on Tigorius every single turn. This causes a lot of my units to take more casualties from the tanks than I anticipated. In the end, the Battle Sisters managed to grind us down to a single Space Marine, losing us the game 49-68. Despite bad luck, the most notable issue in this game was the lack of good multi-damage shooting to help with the tanks. People who know Space Marines can probably imagine what kind of anti-tank unit would be really good in this list, because they are kind of the boogeyman of the game right now. However, due to continuing shipping problems with Games Workshop, These models cannot quite make the cut. Instead, we are going to add a different anti-tank unit to our little army. Devastators. Currently a bit overlooked. We have to buy 2 boxes, however, because the heavy weapons are only included in pairs, so in order to get the same weapon 4 times, we have to buy 2 boxes. The weapons we are going to be looking at are the Graph Cannon and the Multi-Melters. With all that said and done, let's get to business. Space Marine Devastators are a heavy support unit. They are mostly identical to Tactical Marines, but can carry up to 4 heavy weapons. This makes them very flexible for any situation. Las Cannons and Multi-Melters are great at dealing with tanks, while Graph Cannons and Heavy Bolters shred through infantry. Missile launchers can do a bit of both, while the Plasma Cannon is the most underwhelming option. While the Sergeant is alive, one model can shoot at ballistic skill 2+, giving you just a bit more accuracy. The squad can buy an Armorum Cherub for 10 points, which lets one model shoot twice once per game. Devastators are great in Ultramarines because of our rule, Scions of Gilliman. While we are in the tactical doctrine, models count as if they were stationary. This means our heavy weapon guys can move around without suffering the -1 penalty to hit with heavy weapons. And there we are. 2 units of Devastators. 1 unit with 4 Multi-Melters to help deal with vehicles, and a unit of 4 Graph Cannons for quality firepower. I want to test both of those units to see which one makes the final cut, but either way, the additional firepower is more than welcome. While I was at it, I made some slight modifications to our existing army. I picked up the Intercessors and added 2 of the auxiliary grenade launchers. I also decided to give the Sergeant of the Intercessor squad a Thunderhammer from the Devastator's brew. This makes him more effective in melee and gives us a real out if we ever get stuck in combat. I also used the spare Space Marine from the Heroes box opening to convert into a 2nd Lieutenant. He is functionally almost identical to the Primaris Lieutenant from episode 1, so check that out if you want a reminder about the rules. I have to make a small correction from last episode. A Blood Angel's Sanguinary Priest actually costs us $33 instead of $30. Subtracting the cost of the Devastators and the missing $3, and we are left with $24. Unfortunately, I cannot think of any way to spend $24 on something we actually need, so I will pocket this money for next month's budget. Speaking of next month's budget, I have to make an unfortunate announcement. Space Marine Plays 40k will be on hiatus for an unknown period of time. The unfortunate reason for this, and the reason why we only have 3 episodes in February, is still shipment delays. The warp seems to have swallowed everything these days. Not a single game store has been able to resupply for over a month now due to shipment issues with the UK, leaving me with absolutely nothing left to unbox on camera. I will resume the project as soon as the necessary miniatures arrive in the mail, so please keep faith, my brothers, and join me in the next episode.
For courage and honor.